I noticed at first. The smell, salt, ash, and cheap whiskey. My vacation home, my refuge, reduced to chaos. The front door hung crooked, like a jaw that had been broken. Furniture lay shattered, glass scattered across the marble floor like frost. And there he was, my brother, passed out on the couch, drooling over a pile of burnt photographs. I didn't shout. I didn't cry. I just stood there, still. The next morning, my parents arrived, their faces frozen in denial. My father looked at the destruction, then at me and said, "He's just young. You can afford it." I almost laughed, not because it was funny, but because, in that moment, I understood everything. They never expected him to be responsible. They expected me to be the safety net. Calmly, I said, "Don't worry, I'll handle it." And I did. Growing up, I thought being the eldest meant setting the example. I worked, saved, and built something from nothing. My brother Daniel was a golden child, untouchable, allowed to make mistakes without consequence. When he wrecked my car at 17, I paid for it. When he borrowed money and never returned it, I let it slide. When he failed, I covered for him. That's the curse of responsibility. You become invisible, only notice when useful. So I bought that house by the coast, a quiet sanctuary, a place I could call my own. And yet, he found a way to ruin that, too. At first, I thought it was just a careless mistake. A party gone too far. A few dents, some broken glass. But soon I realized the truth. He hadn't just destroyed the place. He'd sold my wine collection, pawned the art, rented the house for private parties. Neighbors told me he'd been coming for weeks, calling it his summer home. One even said, "You should be proud. He finally owned something." I smiled politely. Inside, something snapped quietly, like a wire stretched too far. Anger would have been easy. I didn't want easy. I wanted effective. I called my lawyer, my accountant, and my insurance company. Piece by piece, I built a plan not to punish, but to teach. I documented everything: receipts, photos, witness statements. I filed a property damage claim and listed Daniel as the responsible party. When my parents called to talk it out, I told them I was already handling it. They took that as reassurance. They shouldn't have. I repaired the home meticulously. Every broken tile replaced. Every wall repainted. I upgraded the furniture. The total cost, $146,300. Then I sent the invoice to 3 recipients: my insurance company, my parents, and Daniel. The note was simple: per your advice that I can afford it, please find a breakdown of costs attached. As discussed, I'm handling it. A week later, my father called, voice trembling. "You can't expect us to pay that." "Oh, I don't," I said. "Daniel can." I had temporarily transferred the house title to him. The claim was in his name. The silence that followed was perfect. The realization settled slowly, sharp and unmistakable. For the first time, they truly understood. When Daniel finally arrived at my door, he was furious. "You ruined my credit. They're freezing my accounts. Do you even care?" I met his gaze steadily. "You trashed my home, sold my things, and used my name to do it. You made the mess. I just gave it back to you." He lunged at me, fists raised. I didn't move. Mid-swing, he froze, realizing I wasn't going to fight. "You always had someone to clean up after you." I said, "Not anymore." 6 months later, Daniel declared bankruptcy. My parents stopped offering advice over phone. The coastal house is quieter, cleaner, restored. Last week, I sent a family-wide email. Subject: new family gathering policy effective immediately. All events will be held at neutral venues. Damages, emotional or physical, will be billed to responsible party. No exceptions. No one replied. I poured myself a drink, sat by the window, and watched the tide roll in. Boundaries are invisible until crossed. Mine are now written, signed, enforceable. I don't hate them. Not anymore. But they finally learned the cost of mistaking kindness for weakness. And that lesson was worth every penny.